Patagonia is a geographical region in the southern sections of the South American countries of Argentina and Chile. It has a diverse landscape with the Andes Mountains, a vast and arid plateau of steppes and scrubland extending east to the Atlantic, and a southern region with forests, lakes, glaciers and fjords. From the Sky Costanera, the observation deck of the tallest skyscraper in South America, we had 360-degree views of the sprawling city of Santiago. The capital, Santiago, is the largest city in Chile with a population of 7 million. We were soon to join a tour of Patagonia, but had a few days free to look around the city and take a couple of day trips to surrounding areas. From our hotel window, we could look across at Cerro Santa Lucia Hill. Formed by a volcano millions of years ago, the hill has played a large part in the history of Chile. It was used as a lookout by Spanish conquistadors when conquering the country from the Mapuche people in the 16th century. It was also from the hill that in 1541 the founding of Santiago was declared. As you climb up the hill, you come across gardens, forts and terraces, offering more views of the city. Another hill worth a visit is Cerro San Cristobal. You can walk it if you like, but an easy way up is to take the historic funicular. The funicular, which first ran in 1925, climbs 500 metres up to the summit, with the Bella Vista Terrace and the Sanctuary of the Immaculate Conception Virgin. You can then descend the hill via the cable car, with views of the Sanhattan skyline and hazy views of the Andes Mountains in the background. When you disembark from the cable car, you will find that you are near Bicentennial Park, with its lagoon and blackneck swans. With an area of 27 hectares, it is one of Santiago's main green areas. Our first day trip out of Santiago was to Vina del Mar and the port town of Valparaiso. Our first stop was at the Vina del Mar flower clock, which is very popular with locals. Outside the Font Museum is a genuine moe, brought from Easter Island in 1951. It's only one of two that can be seen outside Easter Island. Any walking tour of especially a coastal town seems to involve a visit to the local fish market. The fish market at the small fishing harbour of Calafate, Portales, was full of activity with a wide variety of fresh seafood being prepared for sale. This was very interesting, but it was the sea lions that stole the show. Especially when a free meal was on offer. Well, I guess someone has to miss out. Perching space was at a premium. As the city of Valparaiso has been built upon dozens of steep hillsides, moving around it involves a lot of ascending and descending. During our walk around town, we took one of the city's 16 funiculars up to a sightseeing balcony and access to the Paseo Yugoslavo walkway. First operating in 1902, the funicular El Perel was very advanced for its time and was the first to use steam traction equipment. From the balcony were views of hillsides full of colourful buildings. Valparaiso is known for its artisans and bohemian culture. This is best experienced by exploring its many lanes and walkways. On our next day trip, which was into the Andes Mountains and the Inca Lagoon, we stopped for a glimpse at the Aconcagua, the highest mountain in all the Americas at 6,960 metres above sea level. The valley of the same name, Aconcagua, is an extensive wine growing area that claims that the conditions present in the valley result in flavours that are more mature and full-bodied. With that in mind, a wine tasting is mandatory. The Andes Mountains were formed due to tectonic activity between the South American and Nazca plates. They are the longest mountain range in the world, stretching for over 7,000 kilometres, from Colombia in the north to the southern tip of the continent at Tierra del Fuego. The section of road that we were travelling on was the primary supply route between Chile and Argentina. What with one lane closed due to roadworks, it had become a truck bottleneck. Once through the worst of it, we pulled over and looked down at the 29 switchbacks called Los Caracoles, the snail road. The Portillo ski resort was the first ski resort to be established in South America. It is also considered one of the best ski resorts in the country, attracting skiers from all over the world. But now it was summer, a time to soak up the sun and to catch up on some maintenance. The impressive and colourful hotel looks out over the aquamarine lake known as Laguna del Inca, Lake of the Incas. And as for the amazing colour of the lake, legend has it that a beautiful princess fell to her death on her wedding day, her distraught prince laying her to rest in the lake, the colour magically changing to match the crystalline blue of her eyes. Back in Santiago, we started our official Patagonia tour by joining the group for a walk around the historical part of the city, with its 19th century neoclassical architecture such as the Palace of the Courts of Justice, the former National Congress building, and La Moneda Palace. La Moneda is the seat of the President of the Republic of Chile. In Chile, there is a cocktail drink called terremoto, which means earthquake. This cocktail, with a kick, can be sampled at a local pub. It is made with Chilean wine, liqueur and sorbet, and you get serenaded all the while. A great place to eat is at one of the many restaurants at the Mercado Central, and you will probably get serenaded here too. The market, which takes up an entire city block, is an impressive example of European cast iron technology. Incorporating neoclassical and Renaissance architectural styles, it was completed in 1872. In 1984, it was declared a national monument by the Chilean government. Leaving Santiago behind, we flew to Punta Arenas and then by road through the Patagonian steppes to our hotel for the night at Puerto Natales. As its name suggests, the lodge is situated at a peaceful location a short distance away from the town itself. The decor of our rooms was dominated by great slabs of the aromatic Guaiacas cypress tree. What with its unobtrusive blend in style and serene views, it was in complete contrast to the hustle and bustle of the capital, Santiago. Within the Puerto Natales Torres del Paine National Park is the Milodon Cave, where prehistoric fossils dating back 14,000 years have been found. These include fossils of a saber-toothed tiger and a gigantic sloth, weighing over a ton.
This is the famous Calafate.
There are actually 3 caves of note in the area, with the Milodon, or Suva Grande, the largest. It is absolutely huge, at 200 metres deep, 80 metres wide and 30 metres high. The cave was discovered in 1896 by German explorer Hermann Berhard, who found a seemingly fresh piece of skin, which was later identified as belonging to a Milodon, an extinct animal that died 10 to 14,000 years ago. The giant ground sloth rather resembled a bear with a horse-like head. While there, I asked our local guide the origin of the name Patagonia.
So a long time ago, when the colonizer arrived to this area, they saw big footprints in the land, and they thought that this area was settled by giant people. In fact, we're tall, around 2 meters tall, but they make a shoes with many skins of guanaco, so the shoes looks bigger. For that reason, the footprints were bigger than real size were. So pata is the word for foot, and gon is something big. So Patagon is big foot. So Patagonia is the land of the Bigfoot people.
Moving further on into the park, we caught our first glimpses of the Cordillera Paine, the group of mountains famous for their towers and so-called horns. Paine, or Painar, translates to the colour blue. On that day, the Grey Lake was particularly grey as we looked across at the Grey Glacier. And then there was another view of those horns. While walking on the shores of the lake, we had to watch out for rhea eggs, a bird that is known for its ground nesting habits. Our nest for the next 2 nights was the Hotel Las Torres Patagonia. Centrally located in the Torres del Paine National Park, the hotel offers access to many of the park's natural highlights. What with traditional Patagonia cowboys and about 180 horses, they are well set up for trail rides. There are plenty of opportunities for hiking or taking walks on the many local scenic tracks. On a trip out to one of the glacial lakes, we found that when it gets windy, it gets very windy. The wildlife, though, just took it in their stride. The vast grasslands are home to herds of guanacos. Guanacos are native to South America and are closely related to the llama. We caught one in the middle of its dust bath. It certainly seemed to put a spring in its step. On another occasion, during lunch at the hotel, a puma was spotted. One of our group was quick to sprint close enough to get this image on her phone. Torres del Paine is known for its impressive scenery, and we were now seeing some of the best of it. That evening, back at the hotel, and after our complimentary mocktails, guanaco was served in a bacon wrap. The next morning, before leaving Torres del Paine for our next destination, we took another short walk. This involved crossing a quaint swing bridge, with a restriction. The track took us through expanses of what is called guanaco bush, as when in flower it can resemble guanacos in the distance. Amazing scenery was never far away. We now left Chile, travelling over the border into Argentina and the city of El Calafate. Located in the province of Santa Cruz, El Calafate is situated on the shores of Lago Argentina. Our hotel, the Costa Lake, was of the southern chateau style, built with local timber and stone. Known as the Sustainable Hotel, it also boasts that all bedspreads, curtains, folders, fittings and plastic compositions were specially made by prominent Argentine artists, recreating ancestral designs. Once booked into the hotel, we took a short walk into town. With a population of approximately 23,000, it was originally established as a sheltering place for wool traders. But it was the creation of the nearby Peurto Moreno National Park in 1937 that promoted growth and the building of better road access. Today, El Calafate has become a quaint and rather quirky tourist town. El Calafate serves as the entry point for the UNESCO Natural Heritage Site of Los Glaciers National Park. This was to be a day of icebergs and glaciers while cruising on Lago Argentino. The huge national park, the largest in the country, gets its name from the giant ice cap in the Andes, which feeds 47 large glaciers, of which 13 flow towards the Pacific Ocean.
In the 1950s, the licensed pair of
You know, Uppsala is the second one in size. The first one is Vienna.
This iceberg would have to be the bluest we had ever seen. Everyone wanted to get their photo with it. Apparently, blue icebergs are caused by the way light interacts with dense compressed ice. The deeper and more compressed the ice, the more pronounced the blue hue becomes. Upsala Glacier, one of the longest in South America at over 60 kilometres long, is unfortunately receding at an alarming rate, with huge chunks breaking off and floating away as icebergs. With glaciers to the left and glaciers to the right, we were surrounded by them as we sailed through the aptly named Bay of Glaciers. Meanwhile, our passionate Argentina guide had everyone's undivided attention. As we rounded a bend, Spegazzini Glacier came into view. It is truly an impressive sight, with its wall being about 1.5 kilometre wide. Its wall is also the tallest in the national park, reaching heights up to 135 metres. It is one of the largest glaciers, with an area of 134 square kilometres. The next day, we were back to Los Glaciers National Park, this time to view the Peurto Moreno Glacier. The viewing point is accessed by road and from different levels on a catwalk. As you descend down the zigzag catwalk to the lower level, viewing the glacier head-on is nothing short of dramatic. The terminus of the Peurto Moreno Glacier is 5 kilometres wide, with an average height of 74 metres above the surface of the lake. It has a total ice depth of 170 metres. For the next leg of our Patagonian tour, we flew down to the southern tip of South America, to the city of Ushuaia, on the island Tierra del Fuego. With a population of over 80,000 and a location below the 54th parallel south, it claims the title of world's southernmost city. It is also referred to as the end of the world. The word Ushuaia comes from the Yagan language, Ush and Waya, meaning deep bay. During the 1880s, many gold prospectors came to Ushuaia following rumours of large gold fields, which proved to be false. During the first half of the 20th century, the city centred around the prison built by the Argentine government to increase the population and to ensure Argentine sovereignty over Tierra del Fuego. The prison followed the example of the British in Tasmania and the French in Devil's Island. One of the reasons for us being in Ushuaia was to take a cruise up the Beagle Channel. The eastern section that we were to sail through runs along the border between Argentina and Chile. Amongst the wildlife to be seen on the way was the opportunity to spot Magellanic penguins. The channel was named after the ship HMS Beagle during its survey of the southern part of South America. On board was the self-funded amateur naturalist Charles Darwin. This was a year or two before he sailed to the Galapagos Islands in 1835. During the cruise, we passed rocky islands, literally covered in thousands of Magellanic cormorants, commonly called rock shags. Sharing these islands were colonies of South American seals and sea lions, seen basking and sparring. Southern giant petrels were always on the watch for any fish stirred up by the tour boats.
I like this.
A significant landmark is the lighthouse, which stands as a solitary guardian to ships using the channel, which is the main sea passage to Ushuaia. Since 1920, it has operated uninterruptedly, withstanding decades of batterings by southern storms. And then there were the whale sightings as we approached Martello Island. And we did get to see a small group of the Magellanic penguins. One of their closest relations is the Galapagos penguin. Also on the island were the Gentoo variety of penguin, with their bright red or orange feet and beak. Meanwhile, the whales were doing their best to attract our attention. "11 kilometres west of Ushuaia is the Tierra del Fuego National Park. The park, which encompasses an area of 630 square kilometres, is claimed to be the southernmost national park in the world. It is renowned for its spectacular landscapes that feature coastline, sub-Antarctic forests, glaciers, lakes, mountains and waterfalls. It is also known for its hiking trails, including the popular Senda Costera coastal path. The park is also home to many species of animals and birds, including this sleepy-looking night heron. Bahia Lapatea Bay, is a fjord which is connected to the Beagle Channel. It is also known as the literal end of the road, marking the terminus of National Route 3 and the Pan American Highway, a network of roads that stretch all the way to Alaska. Bahia Lapatea was once home to Tierra del Fuego's first inhabitants, the Yamana people. This nomadic group of hunter-gatherers moved between the islands by canoe and subsisted on a diet of shellfish and animal meat. Despite the cold, rainy climate, they had only a single garment of animal skin, worn like a cape over their shoulders. Bahia Lapatea also found its place in the history books with the Beagle conflict, a border dispute between Chile and Argentina over the sovereignty of the Beagle Channel. While staying in Ushuaia, at our hotel with a lighthouse on top, we spent some time experiencing the town, starting off with a traditional barbecue. Our brief stay in the end of the world city of Ushuaia sadly brought our amazing Patagonia adventure to an end. But there were many highlights of South America still to come.